So the Wimbledon draw has come out, and it's very interesting on the WTA side. It doesn't feel like anyone's really got an easy path to the title. And of course, Wimbledon, on the women's side especially, has been super random. Let's have a look at who's not playing though, because there's only a couple of names that aren't playing. So far, only one player is pulled out on the women's side, and that's Kalinina. She is not going to be playing Wimbledon this year. There are a couple of players that have got injury concerns, but we'll talk about that later as the tournament starts to come up in the next 48 hours. But let's get to the top of the draw because it is a stacked event and nobody has got it easy. All right, starting at the top of the draw, of course, there's 32 seeds in this one, and no one gets a bye in the first round. Starting with Sabalenka, number 1 seed. She'll take on the qualifier Brandstein in the first round. Winner of that will take on either Sun or Buzkova in the second round. Then you got Raducanu versus Zhu. Winner of that will take on either Vondrousova or Kessler, the 32nd seed. Then you got the number 24 seed Mertens taking on Fruhvirtova. Winner of that will take on either Lee or Golubic in the second round. Then you got Krejcikova taking on Sasnovich. Winner of that will take on either Bondare or the number 14 seed Svitolina. So a lot of familiar names here and a lot of good grass court players in this section for Sabalenka. It's not going to be easy because you've got to watch out for Sabalenka. You've got to watch out for Svitolina. Also watch out for Mertens and Kessler. They've both had really good preparations on the grass. But then the unseeded players. You've got to watch out for Raducanu, just because of all the crowd energy she's going to bring to the matches, and also she's been decent on the grass. But then Vondrousova, she's the big one you got to watch out for, having beaten Sabalenka to go on and win in Berlin. So this is a very tough draw for Sabalenka. Next part of the draw, you've got Badosa, the number 9 seed, taking on Bolter first round. That's a blockbuster first round. Winner of that will take on either Minin or Gadetsky in the second round. Then you've got Todoni taking on Buksha. Winner of that will take on either Birrell or the number 22 seed Vekic in the second round. Then you got the number 29 seed Fernandez taking on Klugman. Winner of that will take on either Stearns or Sigamund in the second round. Then you got Danilovic versus Zheng. Winner of that will take on either Ruse or the number 6 seed Keys in the second round. So this draw is a little bit more open. It's still got very good grass court players, but it feels like it's a little bit, maybe a bit more open, or maybe it's just as hard as the top draw. I don't know. You tell me in the comments. But of course, you've got to watch out for Keys. Got to watch out for Badosa. We're not sure how fit she is coming in, but got to watch out for her if she does play. Also, you got to watch out for Vekic. Made the semifinals here last year, so very capable on the grass. Next part of the draw, you've got Paolini, the number 4 seed, taking on Sevastova. Interesting first round. Winner of that match will take on either Rakhimova or Ito in the second round. Then you've got Lees taking on Yuan. Winner of that will take on either Pera or the number 30 seed Noskova in the second round. Then you've got Haddad Maia, the 21 seed, taking on Shrimkova. Winner of that will take on either Dart or Gelfi in the second round. Then you've got Vikmayer taking on Zarazua. Winner of that will take on either Putintseva or the number 13 seed Anisimova. And that is also a blockbuster first round. Putintseva has done some damage at Wimbledon before. And Anisimova, she's also pretty capable on grass. But of course, you've got to watch out for Paolini in this one. Former finalist or last year's finalist. Also got to watch out for Anisimova, like I said, is capable on this surface. Also, Haddad Maia has been good on the grass in the past, so very dangerous possibly as well for the seeds. And also Noskova having a really good week this week in Bad Homburg. But Putintseva, she is the one that I'd be watching out for, especially against Anisimova. She could do some damage if she does get through that match. She has beaten Swiatek and Osaka at this tournament in the past when they've been sort of, top 3 in the world. So, really dangerous opponent and loves playing here at Wimbledon. Next part of the draw, you've got Schneider, the number 12 seed, taking on Uchiyama. Winner of that will take on either Parry or Martic in the second round. Then you've got Tomova taking on Jabeur. Winner of that will take on either Cartel or the number 20 seed Ostapenko in the second round. Then you've got Kruger, the 31st seed, taking on Stojsavljevic. Winner of that match will take on either Pavlyuchenkova or Tomanovic in the second round. Then you've got Osaka taking on Gibson. Winner of that will take on either Siniakova or the number 5 seed Zheng in the second round. There's some interesting names in this one, especially some unseeded players that could be really, really dangerous. But of course, you've got to watch out for Zheng. She did do pretty well at Queen's Club on the grass, which doesn't seem to be her surface yet, but she did do well there. Also got to watch out for Ostapenko. Can be dangerous at any point on any surface, so definitely got to watch out for her. But the unseeded players, I'll be watching out for Ons Jabeur. Made 2 finals here before. We know how good she can be. Also Naomi Osaka. Maybe not the best on grass, but if she does get her opportunities, maybe she can go on a bit of a run here because her game should suit the grass. Bottom half of the draw now, we've got the number 7 seed Andreeva taking on Sharif. Winner of that will take on either Teichmann or Bronzetti in the second round. Then you got Baptiste taking on Castello. Winner of that will take on either Potapova or the number 25 seed Frey in the second round. Then you've got the number 17 seed Krejcikova taking on Eala. Crazy first round matchup. Such a hyped match. Hopefully Krejcikova is healthy enough to get to that match. Winner of that match will take on either Dollarhide or Rus in the second round. Then you got Kudermetova taking on Zhu. Winner of that will take on another crazy first round between Kvitova and the number 10 seed Navarro. That match is also another crazy first round matchup. So there's some really interesting matchups in this section and some possible upsets on the cards if it does go the way of the unseeded players. But you got to watch out for Andreeva. Hasn't really been doing much on the grass, but we know that her game should suit this surface. Also got to watch out for Navarro. Did do well here last year by beating Gauff along the way. Also Krejcikova, defending champion. You got to watch out for her, but it's the unseeded players. You got to watch out for Kvitova. She's playing her last Wimbledon. You got to watch out for Eala. She is playing so well on the grass, not just this week, but in the last couple of weeks, and could really do some damage if she can beat Krejcikova. I mean, what a win that would be. And of course, Krejcikova did have to retire last week, so we'll see whether or not she actually is 100% going into that match. Next part of the draw, you've got the number 15 seed Muchova taking on Wong. Winner of that match will take on either Sonmez or Christian in the second round. Then you got Lemens taking on Jovic. Winner of that will take on either Hon or the number 18 seed Alexandrova in the second round. Then you got Lynette, the 27 seed, taking on Giacomo. Winner of that will take on either Parks or Bencic in the second round. Then you got Volley-Nets taking on Maria. Winner of that will take on either Cocciaretto or the number 3 seed Pegula in the second round. So again, some interesting names here that, dangerous grass names that could be really interesting to see if they do start to catch fire. Of course, you've got to watch out for Pegula. She should be able to do well here. I mean, she could have possibly won a Wimbledon a couple of years ago if she hadn't lost to Vondrousova, who ended up winning the title in that 23 season. You've also got to watch out for Muchova. She's healthy. We know how good she can be on all surfaces. Also, Alexandrova. Her game is super dangerous, especially on the fast courts like this. But some of the unseeded players, you got to watch out for Maria. She has been on fire in the later part of her years and her later part of her career. Of course, made the semis here a couple of years ago, but also just won a title at Queen's Club by having a great run. So definitely got to watch out for her. Got to watch out for Wong as well. She had a great run in Berlin, making the final there as a qualifier. But also watch out for Jovic. She is a young American player coming in through the qualifiers. I think she's 17, and a lot of hype around her in the junior scene. So definitely got to watch out for her as well and see if she can go on a bit of a run. Next part of the draw, we've got the number 8 seed Swiatek taking on Paulina Kudermetova in the first round. Winner of that match will take on either McNally or Burridge in the second round. Then you got Osorio taking on Collins. Winner of that will take on either Urjevic or the number 26 seed Kostyuk in the second round. Then you got number 23 seed Townsend taking on Watson. Winner of that will take on either Kalinskaya or Stojanovic in the second round. Then you got Sakari taking on Blinkova. Winner of that will take on either Avanesian or the number 11 seed Rybakina in the second round. Very interesting draw here, especially with Swiatek and Rybakina in the same section. That is a very interesting fourth round potential, but there's a lot of players in the way before we get that matchup. Of course, you got to watch out for Swiatek, just made the final at Bad on Berg. Got to watch out for Rybakina, former champion at Wimbledon, of course. Also be watching out for Townsend. She's pretty good on these faster courts, so should be a pretty dangerous player if Rybakina does have to play her. But the unseeded players, you got to watch out for Collins. We know Collins and Swiatek, when they've played, it's been super sketchy. It's super scary for Swiatek. And she did just win her last match against Swiatek, did Collins, in Rome. So definitely got to watch out for her. Bottom part of the draw now, we've got the number 16 seed Kazatkina. She takes on Arango in the first round. Winner of that will take on either Bagu or Juvan in the second round. Then we get Starop Dubseva taking on Jones. Winner of that will take on either Joint or the number 19 seed Samsonova in the second round. Then you got Kenin, the 28th seed, taking on Townsend in the first round. Winner of that will take on either Manero or Seidel in the second round. Then you got Azarenka taking on Zakharova. Winner of that will take on either Yastremska or the number 2 seed Gauff in the second round. Yastremska Gauff first round's crazy, especially considering how good Yastremska's been on the grass the last couple of tournaments. And Coco coming off the French Open and not the greatest grass court preparations. That is super scary. But of course, you've got to watch out for Coco. Coming off the French Open, she's got to be feeling pretty good about herself. Also got to watch out for Samsonova. Has been very dangerous on the faster courts like grass and has won grass court titles, so could be really dangerous as well. Also got to watch out for Kenin. Beat Gauff here a couple of years ago. So if they do have a rematch in the third round, that could be really fun. Also got to watch out for Ostremska. He's in a little bit of form on the grass, but also Joint has been really good on the grass, is playing really well this week, especially at Eastbourne. So could be really dangerous as well going in to Wimbledon, and especially that first round against Samsonova. So there it is, the draw for Wimbledon, and it's pretty spread out. I don't think anyone's got an easy draw. But then again, Wimbledon's never been easy for the WTA side of things. We've had so many different champions over the last probably last 10 years or so. But it feels like Gauff, Sabalenka, and Swiatek all have really tricky draws, at least tricky first and second round opponents potentially, if the matchups end up being true. But let me know in the comments below, who's going to win Wimbledon? Are you going to go with one of the favorites? Or are you going to go with someone else? Maybe go with a random player. I mean, we've had Krejcikova and Vondrousova winning lately. But there it is, the Wimbledon draw for the ladies. It starts on Monday.